Hey guys, this is Omer from MMOs.com with another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news, and after the week ending October 7th, 2019. This is episode number 220 of the recap, and the first of news this week is about Astellia. So the game officially launched on September 28th and is open to everyone, as we mentioned last week, but there's a bit of drama going on with the current game packages for sale. The game is buy to play, as everyone knows, and is available for $29.99 for the base package, but the drama involves some of the more expensive bundles, as arguably the $80 bundle that exists today offers more value than the $100 Founders Pack bundle, at least according to some users on the game's official forums. But of course, the $80 bundle doesn't include the head start time, which $100 Founders Pack did include. Still, I don't think it's ever a good idea or a good situation when people that bought the $100 Founders Pack are complaining that an $80 bundle available after the game already launched is a better deal, as Founders Packs are supposed to reward the most loyal customers for buying the game before it comes out. Now, it's not exactly a huge deal, but monetization issues in a buy-to-play game can get especially tricky, as players expect more fairness in buy-to-play games than free-to-play games. Next up, some pretty big news. Well, not exactly a traditional MMORPG or MMO, but Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online will be launching on the PC on November 5th. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 will of course be buy-to-play like the console version and include access to the shared world Red Dead Online. The game is available for pre-purchase on October 9th, and doing so gets you some in-game bonuses. And seeing how Grand Theft Auto 5 went on PC as well, and it's really popular, I'm not too surprised to see Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online come on the PC as well. There might be a little bit of drama though, as the game is launching on the Epic Games Store, Humble Bundle, Green Man Gaming, and other digital retailers, but won't be available on Steam until December. So those that prefer to own the game on Steam will need to wait about an extra month before they can play it on there. And given how many copies the game will sell, you can't exactly blame Rockstar, as they don't want to pay that hefty Steam fee. Epic Games is really happy about this one, even though it's not really an exclusive, because it'll be on Green Man Gaming and other places as well. Up next, some pretty interesting industry news. Tencent, one of the world's biggest tech companies and gaming giants, bought 29% of Funcom, the Norwegian game developer and publisher behind Conan Exiles, Age of Conan, Anarchy Online, and a handful of other games, including The Secret World. Now, Tencent is slowly gobbling up gaming companies and investing in pieces of others. Tencent currently owns all of Riot Games and Supercell, and owns a big piece of Epic Games. They own a piece of Paradox, Ubisoft, and a bunch of other gaming companies as well. Now, time will tell what's exactly going to come of this partnership, but backing by Tencent is definitely a good thing for fans of Funcom games, as it means they'll likely have better access to funding and the ability to launch the games in China, which will bring in more money for Funcom, which of course will lead to more games and more updates. Next up, speaking of industry news, ArenaNet co-founder and president Mike O'Brien leaves to form a new gaming studio with his friends. ArenaNet, of course, is the gaming studio behind Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. No one knows who is replacing Mike at ArenaNet, but the new studio being formed by Mike O'Brien is called ManaWorks. Unfortunately, we have no idea what ManaWorks is going to be working on, and given how stale PC MMOs has been lately, I can't imagine they'll make a PC MMO, but who knows? After all, he is one of the co-founders of ArenaNet, which of course made Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, so he's got a lot of experience making MMOs, so anything is possible. Up next, also in industry news, though more MMO related this time for sure. Raf Koster, a prominent game designer who worked on Ultima Online and Star Wars Galaxies, just raised $2.7 million from investors to create a new kind of MMO. He formed a studio called Playable Worlds and has been in the MMO industry for now over 25 years. He was a lead designer on Ultima Online and the chief creative behind Star Wars Galaxies. So this guy clearly has some industry experience, at least in game design. This new MMO he's working on will be a sandbox MMORPG of sorts, but beyond just some generalities and some vision ideas, we have no idea exactly what the game is going to be about. There's no gameplay videos or screenshots available just yet to show. In fact, Raf Koster says the new project is still at least a few years out, so don't expect any kind of gameplay videos anytime soon. It's definitely neat to see more people work on MMORPGs. I'm not sure on what platform the game will be on just yet, but I'm hoping it'll be available on PC. Next up, a bit of a quickie for Neverwinter. The game's Uprising expansion officially launched on Xbox One and PS4 this last week, after having been available on the PC since August 13th. The gap between PC and console launch ain't that bad with Neverwinter. The PC version came out on August 13th, and the console version came out on October 1st. Uprising adds a new playable race, the Gith, a new storyline content, the Tower of the Mad Mage Trial, new PvP content, and a revamp of a bunch of the early game zones. If you never played Neverwinter, either on the PC or console, it is a solid game worth checking out in my opinion. It has action combat, but much of the world is instant, so it's not quite like Blade and Soul or Terra, but still, it's not bad. Up next, Daybreak Games made some tweaks to PlanetSide Arena after the game's player base never quite reached their expectations. So PlanetSide Arena was supposed to have this 1,000-player Battle Royale matches, but the game only averaged about 340 or so players online at a given time, and that's actually a 30-day average. Over the last week or so, the game has only been averaging about 100 or so players, so it looks like PlanetSide 2 is already dead, despite launching less than a month ago on September 19th. That's a big yikes. So a 1,000-player Battle Royale, but there's only about 100 people online at any given time over the last week, so definitely some issues there. And speaking of dead Battle Royale games, surprise, surprise, Astral Creation Apocalypse continues to lose players as well, now peaking at just over 250 players on Steam. with an average of about 180 or so. Given the mostly negative reviews on Steam with 34% approval, I expect that the game's numbers will continue to flounder. And the problem with Battle Royale games and games like PlanetSide Arena is that it needs to have a lot of players to survive. Whereas you can have basically an empty MMORPG, you can still at least play the game by yourself. I mean, look at all those MMOs on SubaGames.com. They're all pretty much empty and dead, but you can still at least play them and enjoy them by yourself. You just cannot play a Battle Royale game or an FPS game basically by yourself if you can't find a match. And I'm curious to see if Intrepid can actually do anything to bring players into Astro Creation Apocalypse, because if they can't get more players, it's gonna be even harder for them. And next up, some pretty big news from World of Warcraft Classic. Phase 2 for the game is set to launch later this year, with layering being removed from all realms when it happens. Now, the release date for Phase 2 isn't quite available just yet, but we do know it's going to be launching later this year. So if you're not level 60 yet, you better get back to work, because new level 60 content should be coming out with that, along with PvP rank rewards, the honor system, Dire Maul, Kazakh, and a bunch of other goodies as well. And once again, layering is being removed once Phase 2 launches, because the player base has definitely dipped since launch, and layering was never meant to be a permanent solution for the huge influx of players early on. So they're going to get rid of layering with Phase 2 later this year. Up next, some positive news for Elder Scrolls Online. The game revealed their performance improvement roadmap for update 24 to 26. Performance improvements are important for MMOs, especially in visually demanding games such as ESO. I feel like a lot of game developers overlook this, especially a lot of MMOs. I mean, it took a game like Terra forever to actually get their game running smoothly. In fact, just a few years ago when I played Terra, it was still running pretty meh on my high-tier PC, though it's gotten a lot better over the years. Anyway, in the dev blog, Elder Scrolls Online outlined performance updates between now all the way through Q2 of 2020, so expect ESO to run a bit smoother in the future. And I love that they're actually communicating their plans and specific goals between now and Q2 of 2020 as well. Usually game developers are good with communicating new content updates, but you need to see them talking about performance tweaks as well. Next up, besides simply cutting prices, Legends of Aria continues to add new content to bring new players into the sandbox and more PG, as well as retain their existing players. So Legends of Aria revealed the game's latest update titled Point Release 8 Part 1, which introduces martial abilities, craft order changes, essences, an in-game macro system, rune books, and more. These updates will be live on the test server soon, and the game also teased Part 2 of the update, which will be adding an allegiance system for PvP, which is basically an open-world faction PvP system. Besides that, Part 2 will also add some new PvE elements as well, but details on that aren't quite known. And this one is a buy-to-play MMORPG available on Steam for $19.99. The game only averages about 200 or so players online at a given time on Steam, but is available off Steam as well. I think they should still make this one free to play if the player base continues to decline. And the next and last bit of news this week is about Camelot Unchained. The MMORPG by Mark Jacobs is still a thing, and they're talking about new musical classes, the Minstrel. There was a closed beta event over the weekend, open to Alpha, Beta 1, and Beta 2 backers who were able to try out the new Minstrel class. While Camelot Unchained still looks like it's years from official release, they do communicate with their backers regularly, which is good. They're also decently well funded, as they raise money from real investors on top of crowdfunding. I still think it's remarkable that this game is still in development after all these years. The original Kickstarter was back in early 2013. This is especially remarkable because the game Mark Jacobs is best known for, Dark Age of Camelot, was developed in 18 months on a budget of $2.5 million back in 2002. Camelot Unchained, on the other hand, raised nearly $5 million from crowdfunding, $7.5 million from investors, and $5 million from Mark Jacobs' own personal assets, for a total of over $17 million bucks. And this is over 6.5 years, and Camelot Unchained is still far from release, and it's actually a much more streamlined game versus Dark Age of Camelot. It'll be a mostly PvP-driven game versus a more PvP and PvE-driven game with Dark Age of Camelot. But anyway, guys, that is it for MMO News this week. No podcast tomorrow, or probably for the next few weeks. Altai and I are overseas in Hong Kong for a mix of vacation as well as some business. But I'll still be doing my weekly news recaps from overseas on my laptop. Anyway, guys, take care for now.